Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Baldwin number 8BR0204.006. This is a single cylinder deadbolt replacement part. This is, of course, the business, well, maybe not the business end, that might be the latch bolt, but this is a replacement cylinder for a reserve model deadbolt, specifically one that comes with two keys, two operating keys, the smart key, the change tool, and it comes with two keys is what I you can also buy this with four keys. I was going to say there were things happening here. There is, so that part number means two keys. It'll include the change key tool versus four keys and the change key tool. We'll tell you what that part number is in a moment. So the 006 in the part number, that means this polished chrome or 260 finish. Very nice quality finish, except for someone's thumbprint there. Okay, excellent quality finish. Now this is a smart key technology. These Baldwin keys are a little bit longer than standard. This, from the bow to the shoulder stop, it's a greater distance than what I'm used to seeing. The smart key technology basically permits you to put the key in, use the smart key tool, enter a new key, and now all of a sudden the key that worked it no longer does. And that is accomplished by a really brilliant amount of engineering and technology that's inside of this really inexpensive cylinder. And basically, and I've taken it apart one time enough to appreciate, you know, the mind of the person who concocted such an idea. But there are L pins that are inside of it. They have several gates that are cut across these L pins, and when the proper key is inserted, they are engaged by some sliders on the side into those gates. And when the wrong key is put in, you know, the gates and the sliders don't communicate to each other. But when you insert the right key and turn it and then insert the programming tool or the smart key tool, it sets the sliders into a bypass mode where you can then insert the new key, and the L pins will then fall to the line where they need to fall to, where the sliders can then engage the gates in the side of these pins. It's been probably 6 months since I took one apart, so forgive me if I don't have it exactly correct, but it's quite brilliant. Whether or not you need the ability to re-key a lock on the fly, it is nice having that ability to do it. And all that you need to have is this smart key tool. And you can buy these. You're going to want to keep one with your spare set of keys somewhere, because that's what will allow you to accomplish that. You might also want to have, you know, cut keys ready to go in the event that you need to change something. Now, I don't know if Baldwin leases this smart key technology from Kwikset. Kwikset is the name synonymous with smart key, at least it is to me, but it's available in this Baldwin lock set in their reserve line. I'm not really incredibly familiar with the lines of Baldwin hardware other than the Estates line. I believe reserve is probably geared towards a more economical line, a builder's hardware line, maybe a substantial upgrade to builder's hardware, but it's well below likely the Estates line of hardware. So there's not much reference at all to this part number, except it does show up in a reserve price list, and I'm going to pull that document up and give you the part number and how it changes for the different finishes, and how it changes to get 4 keys and other keyways. Speaking of keyways, this is most definitely not a Schlage C keyway. This is going to be a Kwikset keyway is what they're going to have here. It's stamped KE. Okay. These keys seem a little thinner than standard Baldwin keys, I'll tell you that. But nonetheless, it would make sense that they would differentiate between Estates and reserve. So the reserve book I'm going to pull up. I'm going to search for our part number. So 8BR0204-006. That tells us smart key, two keys on a ring. If you want the same system with 4 keys, you're going to go with the BR, apologize, 8BR0209260. That's the finish. You can do this in a Schlage C keyway as well, but it wouldn't, of course, be a smart key technology. Now, the finishes, I don't have all of their codes memorized, but what we're looking at here is the 006, last part of the part number. That means 260 finish, polished chrome. If you need polished brass, let me say this in reverse. The part number 001, that would be Baldwin's 003 finish, a lifetime brass. 002 would be their 049 finish, satin brass, antique brass, something like that. 003 would be a 112 finish, that would be a bronze type color. 004 is their 150 finish, which is a satin nickel. 005 is a 152 finish. I just don't have those codes memorized. You can look those up. 006 is the 260, the one we have here. 007 is a 481 finish. 008 is a 492 finish. 009 is a 141 finish, and 010 is a 190 finish. That would be black. That 481, 482, 141, I don't have those memorized. It's just a matter of very easily just searching that online. Okay, so for a single cylinder deadbolt, this would be your item. Now this does include a tailpiece, and the difference there is that it's the length of the tailpiece. The overall length of this tailpiece is going to be right at about 2 inch. The longer tailpiece is going to be right at about 2.5 inch. Okay. And clearly that longer tailpiece is just going to get us out to about a 2¼ inch thick door. If this length was about 2 inch for 1 3/4, this is going to be about 2¼ because it's a 1/2 inch longer. Okay. Typical D-shaped sort of profile. And that's a feature actually of Kwikset locks. Don't quote me, but I wonder if Baldwin is owned by the same umbrella company. A lot of very similar look is what I see here on this Baldwin deadbolt. Regardless of who Baldwin is in business with or who they're related to, and I'm a fan of both companies. Kwikset, I was told that Kwikset ships 1 million locks every single business day. 1 million locks. I have called Kwikset, and I have received exceptional technical support. In fact, every time that I've called, and now that I'm hearing myself say these words, it is proving my theory that they may be owned by the same mother company, umbrella holding company, who knows. Every time that I've called Baldwin, I've received exceptional technical support. Best in class, period. End of sentence. When I call their tech support and I ask a question, the person who is there on the other end of the phone is every time someone who possesses a mastery of the subject matter. Every single time. Whether it be, I called them yesterday, in fact, just for guidance on how to work the price list in the estates line. I've been using that document or their catalog for 3 decades. You still even need to get clarification sometimes. And just the ability of them to assist you right off the top of their head is amazing. I've called them in the past. I had a client in New England with a lock that was about 40 years old, a Baldwin lock, and older than that, in fact, almost 50 years old. Client says, I need to order a new lock. I says, why? What happened? Well, one of the springs broke. Very common failure. A spring will break. The metallurgy of a spring is going to change, not only with use, but in temperature swings as well. New England, hot, cold, years, decades, lock on lock, lock on lock. The spring broke. I says, okay, I'm happy to sell you a new lock. I can do that. But he said, you know what? Let me call over the Baldwin. Their technical support is so amazing that I'd like to run it past them prior to just taking your money and shipping you a lock. Called over to Baldwin, spoke to the first person who answered the phone in tech support, explained, I've got a lock from about the late 70s, and spring broke. By any chance, because I've been working on Baldwin locks for, again, 3 decades, I can't tell you that anything has changed in their mortise locks. Something must have changed, but I couldn't tell you what it is. The gentleman says, is it a blue mortise case? I says, in fact, it is. I have the picture on my screen pulled up. He says, I was working on the line in the late 70s, and I could have put that lock together myself. And this person was able to tell me exactly the spring that I needed, and they shipped it out at no charge. Now, of course, sending things out at no charge is not how they do business, although that wasn't the first time I had heard Baldwin did that for a client. They take exceptional care of their installed client base, better than anyone. If they can send you a part to keep you super two thumbs up happy, I've seen them do that. And I've had other clients tell me that they've called them for a broken latch bolt and they've replaced it. Their Images line, which was something that must have been around for about 20 years. Don't quote me, but maybe the mid 90s to the mid 2010s, the mid 20 teens, whatever it is. Latch bolts were breaking on those, and I've heard stories where Baldwin's shipped out a no-charge replacement. But the fact that the gentleman who answered the phone, last time I spoke to someone who was a lady, then a man, then a lady, then a man, they're all exceptional, everyone, that the power of recall was so instantaneous. And why that's amazing is because you've got a $300, actually, I don't recall the list price of like a 6321 mortise case. It's not that expensive, but it's a couple $100+. And when that lock goes down because of a $3 spring, it's awful. And I think it was the spring that was governing the action of the deadbolt in and out. Don't quote me, but that's why you work with Baldwin, in my opinion. There's entry-level material, your Kwiksets, others, Schlags, Omnias, MTECs. Baldwin is here. Baldwin is here. Above them are boutique companies where you're going to spend $400 for a pair of knobs only. Just two knobs, no roses. And that material is, of course, exquisite. But when it comes to, overall, the best sort of confluence of value, quality, and support decades later, you've got to say to yourself, I realize hardware is really expensive. And if you quote a job out in Kwikset and then you quote it out in Baldwin, there's two different things happening there in terms of cost. But one lock is disposable and the other will last the lifetime of the house. So where do you want, where's the client? If you're building a $2 million house, you're not putting in Kwikset. Maybe you are, but you're not. So be mindful of where that product fits in. Baldwin earns that business. Anyway, I will discontinue blabbing on. This part number is 8BR0204006. If you have any questions on this or any other Baldwin product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.